Illinois Congressman Joe Walsh is one of the Tea Party Republicans who's been pushing for much deeper cuts. And I had a chance to speak with him just a few minutes ago and asked him what he thought about McCain's comments.
The problem, Kara, is that folks like Senator John McCain have been in this town for too long, and they're the ones who have gotten us into this mess year after year after year. I'm glad that I've only been here 6 to 7 months, because I reflect where a lot of the American people are. Guys like John McCain have been here too long, and it's almost insulting for him to say that. Look, enough with the insults. I wish this town would simply step back and take a breath. Your profession's got us all at Twitter. The administration's got us all at Twitter. Let's make sure that we solve this crisis and solve it right.
At the same time, Americans would look to you and say, you're holding us hostage. You know, we're talking about the debt ceiling vote here. Republicans have voted for this in the past over and over again. So why fight it now?
Carrie, it's actually a fascinating question. Why the big deal this year about the debt ceiling when, as you say, it's come and gone numerous times over the years? Here's why. The American people have woken up. This administration has spent money like we've never seen the last 2.5 years, and we are falling off a financial cliff. And unless we finally do something about this debt we're placing on the backs of our kids and our grandkids, we'll never recover. And so folks like me came to Washington to come up with a solution, some sort of solution like balancing the budget, a balanced budget amendment, which will make sure we never get here again.
Economically, though, we were in horrible positions in the 70s and the 80s, but it has never gotten to this point. The political bickering, the back and forth, you know, just days to go before this August 2nd deadline.
Well, Kara, I think a lot of the problem is that this president hasn't been serious for the last 6 months. And so here he comes to us in the 11th hour to try to fix his mess. We're perfectly willing to fix the mess, but he hasn't led. I mean, everybody, the administration has been trying to scare folks into this notion of default. Default is off the table. Nobody wants default. We're going to pay off our debt, and we've got plenty of government revenues this next month to make sure we do. I guess what a lot of the House Republicans are arguing is, let's make sure we get this right. I'm not obsessed with August 2nd, truthfully. I'm obsessed with making sure that we solve this debt crisis, and if it takes us a few more days, let's do it.
Now, with all due respect, I've got a personal financial question for you, Congressman. You become a key player in this debate that's all about spending. Now we're seeing these reports coming through the Chicago Sun-Times. You've had your own financial problems, the claims that you lost your condo to foreclosure, that you owe back child support. With that out there now, are you concerned about your credibility in this debate?
Yeah, Kara, look, I was probably the most openly vetted candidate on the planet. I ran as a guy who lost home and had financial struggles like a lot of Americans. Absolutely not. This is where a lot of Americans come from right now. It's why they sent so many of us to Washington to do something about this, because we're living this experience. And again, I'd end where we began. Senator McCain and folks like him who've been in this town for so long and have no clue as to the troubles Americans are going through right now, they don't understand this crisis anymore.
So, Congressman, you're actually saying then that you're experiencing these troubles? I mean, the fact that you can't pay child support?
Well, again, Kara, personal family issues that I'm going to fight. Again, I know that story just broke, and it's interesting that it just broke right now as I'm out there trying my best to fight this president and fight the Democrats and solve this debt crisis. But look, I'm the most openly vetted candidate in the world. I have had financial troubles, and I talked about them throughout the campaign. This is where real America is.
Now, the vote on the Boehner debt ceiling plan is